We start off today's wrestling news and rumors video with a big developing story regarding the status of Brock Lesnar. As most of you are likely aware, Brock Lesnar has been keeping a pretty low profile since he lost his WWE Championship to Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 36, with Lesnar's contract with WWE expiring shortly after the Showcase of the Immortals, with Brock Lesnar taking a hiatus from wrestling and enjoying some quiet time with his family. However, it is reportedly getting very close to when Brock Lesnar will be making a comeback to wrestling, and while it seemed as though Lesnar would surely be returning to WWE when he does come back to wrestling, according to one of our sources, things are not definite whatsoever, and Brock Lesnar is apparently considering offers from both WWE and AEW All Elite Wrestling right now. Many fans would argue that Brock Lesnar would not wrestle for any company not named WWE, especially considering Brock Lesnar makes a lot of money working for Vince McMahon, but AEW reportedly have a great interest in at least attempting to persuade Brock Lesnar to consider an offer from the company to jump ship to Vince's rival promotion, and one source mentioned that AEW is closely matching WWE's rumored contract offer to Brock, with AEW potentially even offering Brock Lesnar a bit more money compared to WWE, thus making this a very tough decision for Lesnar. At the end of the day, we have been told that Brock Lesnar is a businessman and isn't loyal to WWE for any reasons aside from getting paid the most amount of money compared to all other promotions, but if AEW was able to offer Brock Lesnar a competitive contract offer, Lesnar would apparently seriously consider the possibility of moving over to All Elite Wrestling. However, we should definitely note that Brock Lesnar, considering a contract offer from AEW, could simply be leveraged to end up getting even more money from Vince McMahon and WWE, but despite it seeming unlikely at this point, the chances of Brock Lesnar showing up in AEW when he does return to wrestling have never been higher, and a backstage rumor has indicated that Vince will have to make Lesnar a much more appealing contract offer for Lesnar to consider returning to WWE, seeing as though AEW reportedly think that Brock would be a huge addition to their roster, and with Brock on the AEW team, All Elite Wrestling feel as though they could legitimately compete with the WWE's main roster shows in terms of viewership and ratings, let alone the NXT brand, which AEW is currently beating in the ratings quite often. Let us know if you would be excited if Brock Lesnar chose to freshen things up a bit and choose to join AEW All Elite Wrestling over returning to WWE, or do you feel that Lesnar is a better fit in WWE compared to AEW? However, if Lesnar does join AEW, do you feel that Brock would be able to make All Elite Wrestling a legitimate ratings threat to WWE for the main roster shows of Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, or is Lesnar not a big enough draw at this point in his career to boost AEW's ratings to that extent? When Matt Hardy decided to leave WWE and join AEW All Elite Wrestling after feeling as though he was being mistreated by WWE and not being given the opportunities that he felt he deserved, many fans were concerned of what WWE's plans would be for Jeff Hardy moving forward. And while Hardy has been a staple in the mid-card title scene on SmackDown and now on Raw over the past year, apparently WWE now have a very interesting storyline idea for Jeff Hardy in the immediate future on Raw. And if a new backstage rumor proves to be true, WWE will be forming a tag team between Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle, named the Hardy Bros. We have been told that Vince feels a Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle tag team would add some excitement to the rather stale tag team division over on Monday Night Raw, and if rumors prove to be true, McMahon plans for the Hardy Bros to win the Raw Tag Team Championships from the New Day either late this year on Raw or early next year. One source mentioned that WWE feel this tag team will benefit both superstars, especially Matt Riddle, and give these two stars something important to do over the next several months, seeing as though neither are reportedly in the plans to challenge for the WWE Championship anytime soon. Let us know your thoughts and opinions of WWE planning to create a Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle tag team called the Hardy Bros in the near future, with the two likely to win the Raw Tag Team titles very quickly after forming their team. Is this a smart way to utilize Jeff Hardy at this point in his career, or do you feel that Jeff Hardy deserves to be feuding for the WWE title in the main event championship scene? As we had mentioned in one of our last videos, WWE have reportedly already secretly signed Eva Marie to a new contract, and it's now just a matter of time before Eva Marie returns to TV in WWE. And according to a new backstage rumor, WWE have already began building up Eva Marie's first storyline following her return, and it apparently involves Angel Garza. The WWE have started this storyline for Eva Marie this past week on Raw, with Angel Garza talking to a mystery woman, and apparently WWE are planning on a romantic storyline angle between Angel Garza and Eva Marie in the coming months, with Eva set to be revealed as a secret mystery woman behind Angel's segments and promos. We have been told that this romance storyline between Eva Marie and Angel Garza will lead to Eva becoming Angel Garza's manager, with Vince feeling like Eva Marie would be best suited in a non-wrestling role, at least for the first few months after her WWE return, with the company apparently considering to utilize Eva Marie as an in-ring competitor next year after WrestleMania 37 in Raw's women's division, after her storyline with Angel Garza wraps up. Over the years, many fans have wondered exactly why Dolph Ziggler was never utilized to his fullest potential in WWE, with Dolph continuously being booked in an unfavorable way and not given the opportunities that Dolph Ziggler's fans felt the show-off deserved. And the reported real reason for Dolph Ziggler always getting the short end of the stick has been revealed. Apparently, the late Pat Patterson was a big fan and supporter of Dolph Ziggler backstage in WWE, and always tried telling Vince and other officials that they need to give Dolph Ziggler a big push. And apparently, the reason for Dolph Ziggler never getting the big push is because Vince wanted to annoy Pat Patterson by not pushing Dolph, and instead doing the complete opposite by giving Dolph Ziggler less opportunities in WWE than Vince would have otherwise given Ziggler had Pat not always been pestering Vince about pushing Dolph Ziggler, and the company simply decided to essentially ruin Dolph Ziggler just to rib Pat Patterson. We now have our main story featured in this video, and it is regarding the new reports that Roman Reigns had a bit of a backstage fight and verbal altercation with Vince McMahon recently, regarding Roman Reigns' next rumored challenger for his Universal Championship after the Big Dog's title defense at TLC 2020 against Kevin Owens, with that said challenger reportedly being none other than a returning Bill Goldberg. As many of you are likely aware, Goldberg recently set his sights on Roman Reigns' Universal title on WWE's The Bump, and apparently Roman Reigns is not a fan whatsoever of the match and storyline against Goldberg, as Reigns apparently feels that Goldberg returning to feud for the championship is taking away opportunities for the company's full-time superstars on SmackDown, not to mention the fact that Goldberg is allegedly going to be winning the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns when they do face off against each other, likely at the next Saudi Arabia show, with WWE then building up the rematch for WrestleMania 37, in which Roman Reigns would likely win back the Universal title. One of our sources has mentioned that when Vince had informed Roman Reigns of the WWE's plan for his Universal Championship, Roman got into a verbal altercation with McMahon and told him how he felt about the whole idea, with Reigns telling Vince that he feels his momentum would be crushed if Goldberg goes over him like he did with a Fiend Bray Wyatt this past year, with Vince reportedly telling Roman Reigns that Goldberg winning the Universal Championship and then a rematch being built up for WrestleMania 37 is what's best for business for WWE, now that The Rock is not going to be returning. Let us know if you agree with Roman Reigns that Vince's proposed Goldberg storyline isn't a good idea, or do you agree with Vince McMahon that Goldberg having another run with the Universal Championship is what's best for business?